Yeah, so open up with the regulations and your thoughts.
So, we briefly touched on it during the live spaces, call that we had. I think regulations is definitely going to be needed. Nobody truly knows what's to come, but the sentiment is positive, right? With regulations, is basically just going to foster the U.S. being more accountable, more present, more aware that they have to work synergistically, and as one, so that we can proceed being the dominant force in the world, right? Everybody knows the U.S. dollar is like the standard currency worldwide, and that's because the U.S. has that dominant power. And in order for them to stay that way, they have to foster innovation, and everybody has to be on one accord when it comes to, central bank digital currencies and cryptocurrencies as a whole. We need rules, and we need some sort of quote unquote safety measures put in place so that there's a honest and welcoming playing field for big money to come in and play. Because innovation is not going to stop. But they definitely need rules in place for these big companies, especially these Fortune 500s and these venture capitalists to come in and dump trillions of liquidity into the market, which is good for us. So, my thoughts about it is I'm all for it. I love it. It's been in the works for years. It's way past due. So whether it be this administration or next administration, I personally feel like it's smoke and mirrors, but in all, we need this so that the big money can flow in. Once the big money comes in, we're gonna see a big burst in all these cryptos that got use case and utility. They solve real world problems. So I'm loving it. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we don't get another hike in inflation. And interest rates and all that good stuff. But it's coming. Writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all mute up, please. I don't know what that was.
Can you hear me? No. That's me. I was on broadcast. You can hear me?
Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me and Steve?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yep. All right, cool.
Yeah, Champ's pretty much spot on with that. My
Steve,
thoughts.
you can hear me? Make sure
Yeah, I was just on mute. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, but that's, ultimately that's my take on regulations. I think we definitely need it, and it's gonna be beneficial to all of us. Because right now it's literally the wild, wild west, and with all this extra stuff going on, this is like a ground for hackers and people launching all kinds of rug pulls and projects that they know aren't sustainable. It all comes with that. So regulations is going help settle the atmosphere and bring in some good money for us, so we can get some appreciation on some of these coins we invested in.
Yeah, whoever has the that sound on in their background, just mute up. Yeah, to piggyback off Champ. Now you spot on. I have the same views on it being needed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the process they're gonna chew this thing up and make it look terrible. And this is a constant story. Every video that you've watched, go back to YouTube. I always start with it. And Champ thinks the same way, right? They're gonna create a problem, and they're the solution for it. But in doing so, they're gonna drive a lot of us out the market. I think a lot of people are gonna have paper hands at the time. They're gonna give you the impression that projects are gonna die. And I truly feel that they'll probably kill 90% of the industry because there's just so much out there with no case use. So that leads us to this pivotal point right now. So if we know that regulations are looming, you're going to start seeing, and you're already seeing a resurgence of, fraudsters and scammers that are like, that have been in this space for a while, but now they have to up the ante, because this is their final grab before, security companies start coming in, and, there's going to be a whole ecosystem built off of security. So they are playing crazy out here, guys, when I tell you. The phishing, the spyware, the bots, even the platforms, OpenSea being, one of them that just has, holes. People are losing millions on OpenSea. And even case use projects, right? At rug pulls, all that, the NFTs. You notice that I'd never talked about NFTs on here. Not in, it was always, if we talked about it, it was NFTs with utilities. Everything else, I've always said, that industry's trash. It's played out. You're seeing those floor prices now. Everything's dropping. This is why, partly why Ethereum gas fee is down, because those guys were clogging up the network, along with a few other things. But now we start to see the space for what it is, which leads back to security again. Champ is a little more out there in the sense of researching the projects and wanting them to bring them all to life, right? I come from that, like I've took a lot of losses in crypto already. So I'm cautious in what I'm doing, because my position now is just, I'm pretty much, I have a good seat at the table for when things come about. So I don't really care about what's being offered out there. So, you jump into these things. I've been part of, a good amount of rug pulls. The last one was, combined. And when I say team, there was only a few guys, well over 100,000 that was lost, between all of us. And then when you think of what those coins could be worth, and that was Ethereum. When you think of what those coins could be worth now, later, it could even be in the millions. So the crazy part is, every rug pull I knew was a rug pull, but the greed in me, because the market was just booming at the time. You always, if you could time it right, you feel like you can get out before everybody else. But on that particular deal, those guys like literally pulled the rug out from under us. Like, I knew this was it, and just couldn't cash out, or could have, but just didn't at the time. So Champ and I were working on releasing a hardware ebook, and then once we started to see that, plus somebody in our group was hit with the loss of over $3,000 in setting up that node project that we put out for you guys for passive income. And looking at what happened, it was there were things in there that you're just not supposed to do, especially with like your passphrase. You never give it to anybody outside of when you need to put it back in to do any sort of recovery. But there's a million and one things that you guys are not fully aware of, and I know for a fact I have experience in that space. And Champ, you make one keystroke mistake on sending something to another wallet and or the wrong network, those are the easy things. It's what I'm more concerned about is how you guys are, how you're reading the projects, because a lot of guys are hitting in a group, say, Steve, you heard of this, you heard of that. So I love that you guys are active in the space, but you got to understand, this space is not, it's not an honest space, and you can lose a lot of money, because it all looks great. The white papers are great, but so I told Champ, I was like, let's expand that book and include the security and the hardware, because it's not just about pulling stuff off and just letting it sit. If it is, then you don't have to worry too much, but you still need to know the do's and don'ts of this crypto space, because like I said, these guys are on their last leg. When regulations come, most of these companies won't be able to afford to pay whatever the fee is or hoops they got to jump through. So you're going to see a lot of projects pulling the rug, and they're doing them now. Last year, I want to say it was about $1 billion in fraud that was committed, 1.2. Yeah, it was
1.2.
1.2 billion, guys. So it's not a game, and there's no like calling your bank and like no. Take that one.
Absolutely, you gotta hold those, especially some of the DAOs and all that other stuff. It's cool, you're innovating, you're participating in, innovative offerings in this space, and it's really cool to do and to be a part of, because, like I said, this is a nascent market, so we're doing things that people have banks and all that stuff have been doing for ages. But now this is a peer-to-peer type thing, you know what I mean? And it really relies on trust. And you can't trust these people that you do not know. Some of these people don't have their, their backgrounds listed online. You can't find out who the developers are or who the, main guys behind certain projects. And, that's why it's called Degen, Degen. When you ape in the projects and you get in the projects super, super early. It can be, it's ultra high risk, potentially ultra high reward. So it makes you want to jump in and want to get involved, but you have to assume the risk that comes with it. So when Steve, if I come up with something and I'm like, yo, hey, I think we should present this, or at least tell him, even when Steve steps in, he's not doing it just to kind of like, block an alley-oop. He's doing it because, he realizes that this is ultra dangerous and it's ultra risky. We can always, give you guys projects because my ear is always, to the industry, always. Steve as well, but whenever I catch something, it's literally in real time. But, it's ultra risky, and our job is not to give you guys added risk, especially with a lot of people just being new to the space. You guys have been going awesome, with our offerings and, learning futures and all that good stuff. Everybody has taken losses, everybody's gotten wins. But the fact that you guys have got in, you understood it, you learned it, you got successful in it, you've made money in it, you just continue to work that muscle and you get stronger, you get better at it. But with these Degen plays and all this stuff, it's so risky, a lot of people just jumping in just because it's new. And you can't do any, you can't follow the basics, who's behind the project, what's their background in, who are the developers, all that type of stuff. You don't have any historical data. None of the normal indicators that you check for, you can't check it. So, I say all that to say the security is key. This is what everyone should focus on, especially right now. In these times with what's going on. So cold storage wallets, hardware wallets, learning what exchanges offer what. Is there any kind of insurance that comes with certain things? Certain processes that you shouldn't do and that you should, practice and participate in. So we gonna definitely outlay all that stuff for you guys in our next offering. And it's almost done, but this is hyper important.
Guys, you got to understand, it's time in the market. A lot of you just started in 2021, right? So you're not even a year into crypto. You're at that pivotal point. So, the security is all that you should be focused on right now. And even, researching, the ledger, what's got me thrown a little bit was when during the Russian sanctions, when they were putting the call out for crypto exchanges to to freeze wallets, and I'm just like, damn, this is not what I signed up for. And then you see the ones that stand up, right? Coinbase doesn't even need paperwork. Like, they just whatever. You can send them a text message. That's how government they are. You look at guys like Kraken, who went the opposite way to say, well, as much craziness as the United States have done to people all over the world, and we would cut every U.S. wallet off. And I'm like, yo, these guys I got all my money in this space, man. I don't know what y'all talking about. You know? So I think look out for the guys who were, you know,
you can just let me know when you need to get back on, all right? Just let me know when you need to get back on.
Yeah, just mute up whoever that is. Yeah, so now, you know, another pivotal bridge was crossed in crypto. It shows you, you know, where the powers lie. Gate.io closing down. You know, I had a lot of holdings on that. I made a lot of money on Gate. Gate was my go-to for a lot of new projects. Yeah, I made a lot of money on Gate.io. That was one of my favorite exchanges. They got fee heavy at the end, so you know, 2018 during the downturn, and the regulation could create problems for a lot of exchanges too that won't. This happened in South Korea last year. I want to say out of 100 and something exchanges that they had, only 3 actually passed the government regulations, and the one thing that they couldn't do was they had to partner with a bank. So go figure, you know, the banks aren't trying to give up that power. But I would have been a bank that would have partnered with them. Yeah, there's no way I would have missed that ride. So you're gonna start seeing exchanges shutting down, or you know, kind of scaling back, and you guys got to be careful. So right now, really, I just monitor KuCoin because that's where, you know, the day stuff goes for me. Yeah, so we're kind of shifting. After this security book, I'm going to give you guys a couple simple passive ways, if you have savings accounts now, to earn over 15% by just parking. And you could, you know, it's a simple conversation. It's just parking in stable coins, guys. It's the best thing you can do right now in these times, because you're not going to get that rate of return in the banks. Plus, the banks are losing. So, you know, I would tell anybody, listen, just put your money in a stable coin and stake it. You know, stake it for the next year. Yeah, guys. So the security part, no one in this room combined has taken a beating like Champ and I. You know, and the one thing I can't think about is like what the number would be where it's at, because I'm just grateful I'm here. So that's water under a bridge, but it's dumb shit that you got to look out for. Then there's a lot of sophisticated stuff too. So I thought Web3 was the most important book this year, but it's actually security first, and then Web3 coming after. So we'll give you what to look for. We'll show you how to look at the financials of the company. Right, liquidity is important, guys. You know, you look at some of these guys, you'll see 18,000%, you know, in 24 hours, and then you go to liquidity, it's like $2,400. You know, it's like I could do this shit. Champ and I could do this shit all day, back and forth.
Absolutely.
You know, if I was that sort of guy, man, I would just sit in that space with the bottom feeders and just keep feeding them that product. You know, pump it. Just keep pumping this shit. They'll come. It's just dumb. Tired shit's dumb, guys. But yo, you just gotta stay locked in. Trust me, because when they shut the lights down and this new system comes up, and you guys sold out on that crypto, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be there to tell you I told you so. There's not gonna be anything left, guys. Trust me. There's not gonna be anything left. This is gonna be their new playground. Before the SEC and those guys could really close up all the loopholes, those cronies are gonna be in here.
They running rampant.
Oh my God. And if you position right, you'll be in the right project, you'll make a lot of money. But shit's gonna get bad before it gets good. So I've been scaling back on the day trading. It's been slow anyway, and the market's been, you know, kind of trading sideways. The Bitcoin was a good call, but then that thing went from, you know, from wherever it was going to wherever it came from, and back twice. I was like, nah. So instead of me pulling and just giving, and they're all solid. I'm just giving everybody a good break for us to like really look at it as opposed to chasing everything. But in the meantime, just study the patterns of your, the ones that we usually call, and just kind of get a look to see what's happening. I think it gets a lot rockier next month, guys. So that's why I was kind of playing it easy, and we're creating the passive income. I just set up 2 more nodes today. I actually set up the Polygon for anybody who's in the node group. Polygon just came out, so they tend to pay higher rewards initially. So it was the calculations were better. Most regret doing Ethereum, but it's all good.
So, you want to kind of go in the moderate details about the loss that happened, or you want to save that for another time?
Yeah, nah, we could bring it up because I mean it's so the person is buying the nodes. Never had a MetaMask before, and when you really start getting into crypto, it's not just send something to a wallet. So this one had a couple steps. But long story short, when you get to the point when you first set up on new exchanges and they give you a passphrase, they will then tell you to write the passphrase down, and then before you move on, they would make sure that you have it in the correct order. So they may ask you for the passphrase back, maybe the first, the second, the fifth, or 10th, or whatever, just so they could get a good gauge on it, make sure you didn't make a mistake. And then after that, you should never put that passphrase in again unless it's a recovery. So I think at some point when the person was downloading the extension for MetaMask, because you have to get an extension for your browser, he was compromised because you don't know what website you're going to when you type this stuff in. So you're supposed to go into the the browser settings and add the extension, or I mean the store directly, and get it from there. But I think once you type, you got to know these guys are savvy. They're attacking all sorts of stuff now. So I'm even to a point where I'm clearing out a computer that's not going to touch the internet, no email, no nothing. And that'll just be my crypto situation. So when I plug up, it'll just be from hardware to that. But I won't let the, it won't be anything else, right? Because you could be compromised through a lot of different ways and different things. So, and never reply to an email or click anything from the exchange. If they want to contact you, they'll find a way to contact you. But that is the number one way to get caught, especially with Coinbase. The phishing is rampant, guys. And the emails, they look identical. It could be one letter off. But for me, rule of thumb, I pay it no mind. They're all telling you the KYCs are coming, right? Coinbase, I think it's in April. Who else? Somebody else. Gate.io is on my neck.
And that's April 10th.
Yeah.
If you don't have your stuff removed off by April 10th, on the 30th, they're completely shutting down your account, and you won't have receive or send capabilities. So at the end of the day, if you still got projects, because we've given plays, and Gate.io was where in the beginning, this is where I think Shiba was at, and there were some other ones, Floki and a couple other ones I gave, that had like immediate ROI. But if you guys still had, your money sitting over there, if you wait till the last minute and they shut down the exchange and you don't verify your KYC, you fall under any one of these non-operating countries. There's 13 total, including the U.S. So they once they stop, it's a wrap. That means you're gonna lose everything. You won't even be able to pull it off. So guys, let this be a lesson to you. You know what I mean? He just told you about the KYC. So know your customers, what KYC stands for. This is hyper important because this validates you as a person. But what they want to know is they want to know who you are, who is using our exchange to transact. Are you money laundering? Are you participating in nefarious activities? This is why they ask these questions, right? But in order for you to use it, in a way, it seems centralized. The whole reason of decentralization was not having to verify who you were, but now they're trying to set the stage for you. So before they bring in big money, a lot of these exchanges, they get leaned on by the alphabets, and now they require this type of stuff. So just to make sure you're safe, you have to make sure that you verify your information if you're going to continuously use it, especially Coinbase. Coinbase is like bottom level 101, but it's easy, right? So, that if that's the main one and you can operate on that one, it's not going to offer all the coins that you may want, or that you come across, but, it's easy to use. So for you to have it, you're going to have to verify who you are. Show your ID, type in your information, address, maybe have to hold the picture or write a code on a piece of paper or something. But, that's all part of the game. We did it with KuCoin, and that's how people was, getting verified to trade up to certain amounts. So this isn't nothing new.
Yeah, guys. So, so I was on with my accountant earlier. Just a quick gem. Look up C Corp and taxes for investing, and that's the homework. I was blown away.
It's major.
I was blown away by the difference, guys. You're giving away money by trading in your personal name. Look up C Corp, and then we'll double back on the next call.
And I'm pretty sure there's other people in here that's got LLCs. I think a couple people mentioned it on a previous call, so check out S Corps as well. But C Corps, especially when you're doing this, what we're doing, I'm telling you, he's giving y'all a major gem. I started researching this a couple months ago. This is major, and it's going to save you a lot of money.
The nodes, guys, we updated the website, so it's a little more in depth with videos of Champ, so you get a better understanding of the nodes. The price went low this week, so I was happy, and it's going back up again. Take a look at it, guys. I'm telling you that it makes sense. If whoever's interested, if you need a little bit more, we have a calculator on there for free, and then there's a video with Champ telling you how to use the calculator, and you can kind of play around with the numbers a little bit and just see where it's at. I'm happy so far. And then after this, Champ would just bomb Telegram and Discord with the link for the sort of security book is on. We're just doing a pre-sale today. It'll launch on Monday, half off from now till Monday, and then after that it goes up to regular price once we release it to everybody. Guys, you're getting how many hardware, Champ? 4?
4. I think I might have added an extra. I think it's 4 right now, though.
4 cold storage wallets, possibly 5. And then just security, every aspect, what to look out for, how to read the projects, how to read the numbers behind the projects, how to, what information to look for. If it's not there, red flags. It will save you. Hopefully it saves you everything. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had this, actually no, because I'm different. But yeah, if I had it, I would have. Yeah, I would have played a little bit smarter. But you get to a point where you kind of know, but you're chasing, these 18 million APY. I'm just like, no, Champ, no. That math has never made sense. Yeah, I can't play this game with these guys. And I used to get on some good trains and make some good licks, but I like the fundamentals in it. I'm not that dumb to live in that space all day. But it is getting more sophisticated, guys, and it sucks. I hate losing, but I hate more that for other people to take that L that honestly didn't know, right? I hold myself to a different standard. So when I'm doing it, it's because I come with the intentions on, you know, wanting to beat that system. But then you figure out there's no liquidity, right? So that's the part that was dumb. You know, not knowing how to read those minor details. But you know, at that point, you don't care who the CEO is. Fuck, man. Let me get that. You know, for every one, I get two. Okay, all right. Let me figure. I just want to jump off this merry-go-round before it gets too fast.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do it, guys. This is their last crack at it. We still got time though. Like this guy, they don't know how to. They're not equipped to do this space. They have an opportunity to be a super world power. And if you just look at all the other countries, right? Every country within the same month has said they were going to ban crypto, and they end up signing crypto. Crypto funded a war. You know, it funded a war. So, you know, y'all miss me with this shit. And I tell you, if it's not this space, just make sure you stay connected to the space. They funded a war. They're going to win the next election. You're going to see a lot of shit, man. Think about how these politicians are going to raise money under the radar. They want this to work too. But they have to give you and me, you know, me and you, the impression that it's silliness, right? But look at Warren Buffett. He couldn't help himself. He sold Visa, MasterCard, and he bought into a bank that processes crypto, Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So you sold Visa, MasterCard. Oh, okay. They're done, guys. You know, that's like the Polaroid. You know, when that shit was over, it was over. None of these guys are equipped for the digital space. You're going to see every record label is going to ask you to invest and act like they're partners. Like it's going to be, they're going to try to mirror the blockchain, but they're not honest guys. So you can't, you know, what are they going to give you? They're going to cut you a check for like a penny. And then anybody that has any sort of product or talent is going to be well compensated for, because they know once you could harness the power of Web3 and take it back to where you don't need anybody in your shit, they're going to buy you out probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying not to take it, right? But I'm just telling you that you might want to just hold off a little bit, you know, and create in a whole new space. Guys, this shit is here now. You know, this stuff is here now. And for, you know, for some of the guys who mentioned certain projects, like, you got to think, you can't compare all these projects. So that's another thing. I don't think a lot of you guys know how to read these sectors. You know, I'm not going to compare, you know, NFT to a blockchain project. It's a different type of company. You know, I talk about VeChain and Helium. You know, these guys have like hardware. You know, so you know, it's like life-changing stuff that they're working on. So those things don't pump. You know, they're not on Twitter like people yelling. And if you know, you know. You just position yourself and you just stay low. You know, but when the big money starts to roll in and you sitting on, you know, 100,000 of these things and the shit hits, you know, 4,000, you know, you're welcome.
Absolutely. Same thing happened to Bitcoin, and it was just new because it was innovative. It was the first of its kind. It was the first out the gate. You know what I mean? So it had brand notoriety. But I mean, to
that
be
shit
honest,
trash.
Bitcoin doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? It's literally trash. You know what I mean? They even call Bitcoin the hedge against inflation. But even Bitcoin has taken a hit. If you look at the market, it's got 43% market dominance. Right? So when Bitcoin drops, it just plummeted to 35,000, 36,000, something like that. So when it dropped, you know, you got to remember, just 4 weeks ago, it was sitting at 65,000, 66,000 per coin. But Bitcoin doesn't do anything. There's other projects that are here that do way more. You know what I mean? And these projects solve real world utility, real world problems. You know, you can implement it in different sectors across the world: trade, finance, you know, decentralized finance, all of that good stuff. So all these big boys like Visa and MasterCard and all of that stuff, they partner with these companies, and they do it, blatantly in your face, but also under the radar. No big major announcements. You just have to find it. You just have to find the information. And they partner with these companies because they know that they can't, they can't measure up. Visa processing 1,200 transactions per second, but you got digital currencies that, process, double and triple that, in under 10 seconds. You can't measure this up. So just, outside of security, right? Security is going to be the major thing. And that's ultra important. Web3 is going to be a very close second, because Web3 puts the power back into your hands. It removes the centralized authority. Gets rid of the middleman, puts the power back in your hands. If you're a content creator, you're the one who's getting the money. If you provide a service that, other people want, or you have data that other people want, they're coming to you specifically to get it. You don't have to go through a middleman like you normally would. It won't be no more the Googles, and I think the Googles and all that stuff, it'll still exist. It's just going to have to shift. They're going to have to pivot, and they're going to have to grow with the times. Because, when people, on a mainstream level start to realize, they hold the power and they've always held the power, they're going to smarten up, and it's going to become more profitable for them. So companies is going to have to figure out a way to be partners with you. That's why you got TikTok celebrities and stars that's getting paid, millions of dollars annually, hundreds of thousands of dollars, back to back, just for providing content, 5-second videos, 10-second videos. Imagine what that could do for your own streaming platform that you create, or your own, base, your own store.
Or you're operating, or you're running the node that's running the system. And anytime somebody searches that content, guys, the reward system is different. It's different. You're not on the internet to not make money. Go look at fan base. That's another thing. IG's dead, man. We got to kill that platform. It does nothing for the culture, guys, at all. With the shadow banning, it does. Any sort of black organizations that are teaching anything positive should not be on that platform, guys. I'm on fan base now, still working it out. They're a little behind in certain things, but there's a monetary system there, and it's built for Web3. It's just smart, and there's nothing but smart shit happening over there. And I'm not shitting on IG. I mean, my page is my page, but it can get dumb. It is dumb. But take a look at fan base, guys. Especially if if you have a brand, it's good synergy going on there. Just look at the monetary system, because IG and these guys, they're gonna have to turn to that. Every keystroke is is some type of currency if you're using this correctly in your position. And I'm about to go real bullish in that space, because there's certain keywords that you could lock down right now. Certain songs that you can, you're like a music player. Everything that goes through you, you got to start looking at those sort of investments. That's like, that's like Tower Records type shit. So I'm looking at crypto completely different now, especially, now that futures is not like a big thing for me right now, right? Because of the volatility in the market. Now it has me back on my smart shit with connecting those dots. So within the security ebooks 200, you get half off on the pre-sale before Monday. We also put, so we know that once you have the cold storage, you know how to move. Now when the regulations come, they're going to still need to be security companies in the metaverse. So I gave you guys one, right? Lossless, LSS. They've already recovered, tens of millions of dollars in fraud. So you're going to start seeing a surgence of these of blockchain security companies. Those are going to be solid ones. So Champ, you throwing in a couple for them in the space? Lossless they had already, so I have nothing else. You know, I do, but not for now.
As far as security wise,
I haven't dove too deep to back any one thing just yet.
Yeah, not me neither. I've done a lot of research in fintech and stuff like that, but you know, in the logistical realm, but no security.
Listen, we'll find a couple, but we're not going to deep dive on it. It'll just be surface. Like, yo, just take a look at that. But at the end of the day, you know, people that are able to recover. For me, I just think the exchanges could do a better job.
Absolutely.
You know, because when I'm on KuCoin, I have to get an email. I have to have my password, and I have my 2FA all within a minute. You know, so that in itself should be, you know, I think the exchanges can knock out 99% of it, but you do need, you know, the cronies are smart, right? Because it's the same guys coding are the same guys scamming. Bill Gates created the virus for his computers and created a whole industry behind it called virus protection. That's where he made all his money. This guy's a sick guy, man. I would never take anything from him. I'm cool.
No, but I mean, like, we're laughing about it, but it's just because it's ironic. But seriously, like, this is real, man. Like, this is real. These guys create. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Create problems.
They create problems to find solutions for. And when you create the problem, you have everything that you need. Spread the problem, and then make people pay for the solution. This is how it's done.
Yeah, we lived it for 2 years, guys. 2.5, 2 years and some change. Like, you've seen the power of that, the nonsense. If they're talking about it in crypto, you're probably too late. All right. And then you might hear some shit and you're too early, and you're at that bottom feeding stage. I pray that you hit the first two, you know, and leave the space. And in closing, I would say, listen, start researching. Just send me the stuff, because I like the shit, right? Just give me what industry you're in or what you're interested in. Guys, I just need content. I'm putting something together. And I'll give you a good head start. You know, you wouldn't have to go any deeper. I'd give you every type of scenario that can get your mind, running. For me, that's what I'm thriving to do this year. Is more integration in crypto, not just investing in projects. So consulting. Next month, we're speaking at a eyewear convention for a Web3 panel. So, I'm looking to do a lot more of those and connect with some big projects. But I definitely want to, have this entrepreneur hub, and I've created some more channels inside of Discord for you guys too, for us to start connecting a little bit more on that. Because if we know what we all do and what skill sets we have, we can create something. So Father Drew is into the church. I'm speaking to him about creating the space in the metaverse for them to host something in there. So I'm excited. So just throw some stuff at me, guys. I'm looking for partnerships this year. And I need to get my mind off just the dumb shit that goes on every day in crypto, man. That stuff is like, like once Europe got involved, shit just got ugly.
Absolutely.
We were running it up in October, man. You couldn't tell me Bitcoin wouldn't have been 100,000, and we wouldn't have had a couple more, zeros.
Millionaires under the belt as well.
But I knew something had to. I knew that black swan was coming. So, you know, there's still regulations, right? So I had to just take it back to those days. Yeah, guys, I'm just keeping it real simple. Let's connect the dots with you know what you're currently doing versus where that industry is going and how you can position yourself. And listen, I had a couple guys hit me in the background. I'm not, and I thanked them for doing it because they felt like, well, if they went and taught something that they learned, and I'm like, listen, this is what it's about. You know, as long as you can stand behind what you say, and not pass the buck to somebody else, and you take accountability, and yeah, you learn something, you teach, you add some value, you think it's adding value, you charge. You know, I just told them both where I draw the line is like, if you're trying to sell it in here, you know, we could have a conversation. So outside of that, like, you know, I want everybody to win, and we all don't have to stay in the same space or sector. You know, Tone told me he's a DJ, so I'm gonna work something out with him to DJ an event in the metaverse space. So that opens up a whole world that he may not have known, you know, if not for, you know, being in a crypto group. So innovation, right? It's gonna get super impersonal, which is whack. But you know, I'm cool. I'm looking forward to farm life now anyway. So you know, I'm done with that shit. I'll peek in once in a while, but yeah, I got nothing for you guys tonight. I don't even have a play. We usually give a play. You got a play?
Of course.
All right, I'm gonna stop the video though. They don't get that shit.
All right. Yeah, I'll give them a play.